Howdy, y'all. Welcome to the EEARSS Podcast, produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. I am Frank. That is Bill. That is Cindy. Why are you laughing at me now? What did I do?
Because the way you said produced.
Produced.
Yeah, I know.
You turned it into two words.
I got it. I was going into it too fast, and I tried to slow myself down in the middle of it, and I knew I was going off. I knew I was already off kilter, but it was too late.
Yeah, so
you got to just kind of roll with it at
made
that
me
point.
smile. Made me smile.
Anytime I see you laughing, I'm like, uh-oh, what did I do this time?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
See, in the very beginning, it didn't take a whole lot to crack Cindy up.
No.
And now
no.
it's taken more and more recently. I really got to poke the right button to make it go.
Cindy has really been, she's kind of
composed.
a little composed, maybe a little calloused, and that it takes more of Frank to get. That's not a bad thing. That's the way you protect yourself.
Yes.
As long as you're getting your weekly dose of Frank hilariousness, you're
right,
probably
Frank
okay.
hilariousness.
Oh, Lord. Which it doesn't take much.
No.
I just walk around with that.
No, they're small little doses of Frank.
Because I'm
very
super charismatic.
Yes. Well, you're super concentrated. Yes.
My charisma.
Your charisma.
My charisma is like a whole other level.
Ooze charisma.
What do the kids say? It's Riz. It's the Riz
they
factor.
do.
Yes.
It's the
I
Riz.
promise that's
They don't really say
that's
that.
not
anymore.
what.
Is
No.
I thought that's what the kids
I
are
think
saying.
that's come and gone.
That one really faded out pretty quick.
I think they all kind of fade out pretty quick.
That one's Ohio.
Oh no.
As is that, I think.
Yo, you haven't heard the Ohio saying?
The only time I have ever heard somebody say that phrase, like as
Ohio?
slang, is when it's an adult trying to talk about how kids talk. I have never actually heard a youth say it.
I've heard the kids say it.
Lindsay's nodding. She agrees.
Yeah.
Oh,
And she's our resident.
Yeah, she is.
this is
she's
not
student.
something that's being used anymore.
the teen in there.
It was never really used.
I heard the kids on the football field. I heard the kids use it.
It was like a few brief internet jokes. I've never heard kids actually use it in like an actual conversation.
So we're gonna find out about this
A
in a minute
real
because
life
our
teenager
guest
lives in my home.
Oh, I say our guest has
That's
kids
right,
too,
yeah.
and we're gonna ask him about this
I
in a
do
second.
field study every day.
Yeah.
I observe. I
Do you
take notes.
Copious notes.
I
See,
do.
I've heard-
and then I'll try to say things, and I just get that stare that I'm like, no.
No.
I've
Please
heard
stop.
Riz. I've heard No Cap.
Please
I've
stop.
heard all kinds of different ones. I've heard them all.
Ironic, like you've heard them ironically.
No, he thinks that they're
No, they're
taking
they're
him
legit.
into the circle.
They're
No,
letting him
I'm
in.
just
You're one of
observing
us.
the circle. I'm just
One
like
of us.
listening to it. I'm
One of
eavesdropping. I'm one of us. I'm a very fuzzy one of you. Yes.
Yeah.
Bill's losing.
One of us.
Oh my garage.
Oh no.
Oh Lord. Okay.
They all definitely say that. Oh my garage.
Yeah. Before we
Yeah,
make Geo hang
yeah.
up, we should definitely bring him into the
Yeah, we probably
conversation.
should,
yeah. Before he's like, I can't take
Yeah,
these
that's
people.
What did I sign up for?
Oh my goodness. All right. So good grief. Got to pull it together here. Okay. So today on the podcast, we are joined by Geo Crume. Geo, thank you so much for being here and chatting with us, buddy.
Hey, it's a pleasure, Frank. Thanks for having me. Cracking me up already.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to start with that question first. Have you ever heard any of these weird terms in your household? Because you have kids. If anybody knows this firsthand, you have to know this, Gio.
So, of the three kids, two of them are teenagers, and I have not heard the Riz other than someone's nickname.
Is that for
Whose
you?
name?
Your kids have somebody that's nicknamed Riz?
They know someone whose last name starts with Riz, and that's the nickname. Yeah.
Okay.
But not a slang. I've heard the other ones. I'm not even going to say them. But,
Yeah.
I've heard
Oh
the
yeah,
other ones
there's
you
some
said,
other
yeah.
ones for sure. Yeah, no joke. So Gio, tell us a little bit about you and your background, and let's chat about you a little bit.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Well, I don't know where you want to start, but
Let's start at the beginning, Gio. Let's start at the
From the
beginning.
beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So yeah, I graduated with you in '99 from Titusville, and was playing in bands down there, talent scan, and hanging out with the low pressure guys and the Indian guys and all those fun people, and then working at Domino's there in Port St. John and Knox McRae in Titusville.
Those
Yeah,
are some
kind of
band names I have not heard in a long
Rode that way
time.
for a long time
Yeah.
until just recently. Yeah.
So you've had a very interesting journey, your business journey in general, because you started while you were still in high school, if I'm not mistaken. You went from kind of running your own band, which is an interesting business proposition in the very beginning there, to working at Domino's, and you have turned Domino's. You turned that into an outstanding career that then jumped you to the next level. So walk us a little bit through the starting there at Domino's and how you kind of escalated that along.
Yeah, sure. To even go a step further, at Titusville, I was in, what was it called? The medical academy? Is that what they had? Or
Oh, yes. The
and I
medical.
wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Wow.
Yeah, but then, realizing the amount of school and money that was going to take, and I was in a band. I want to stay in a band. I decided to not go to college, basically at all. Took some classes for my own personal knowledge, but yeah, ended up deciding while I was still in high school that owning and operating a Domino's was what I wanted to do. So I just went all in on that, and while at the same time was able to play music and do that fun stuff, at the same time.
When you started when you started owning your own Domino's or working your way to that, walk us through that, what that was like from the beginning, kind of working your way up to owning your own place. And then you took that and again, you escalated that out of the state of Florida eventually, and then above and beyond. I mean, you kind of just, that kept rolling. That was a giant snowball that just kept going for quite a long time.
Yeah, a couple times. The manager who hired me, about 2 weeks after he hired me, he moved off away to open his own location. I was like, oh, that's a thing. And then the owner of that store there on Knox Prairie, that's not even there anymore, it's moved or whatever, he kind of took me under his wing and kind of mentored me. And yeah, we ended up buying a couple stores together in Georgia, and we essentially bought those for really good deal, flipped them, doubled the sales, sold them. Then I went to work in Gainesville at Gator Domino's, worked there for a couple of years, and then ended up buying a couple up here in Connecticut.
It's very interesting. What did you ever imagine when you were first starting at Domino's that you were going to be actually owning a couple of franchises at some point? Did you have that plan the whole time?
Not when I started. When I started, it was a means to an end. It was save up money for my first car, have money for going out with friends, have money to buy new drum equipment. It was just it was a necessity. So I literally rode my skateboard up to the Domino's, got a job as a phone boy, although boy isn't the word they usually used. And drove it all the way to the top. In Gainesville, I was the number 2, number 3 person for a 300 person operation. And then the day that guy in Gainesville told me he was selling, I checked the for sale ads for Domino's, and the ones in Connecticut were for sale, and I took it as a sign that I should pursue it.
Now, where in Connecticut are you?
So I'm in Fairfield, Connecticut. It's Fairfield County. It's the first county in from New York. So we're kind of suburbs, probably not the best word, but we're a commuter town of New York City. A lot of people who live here work in Manhattan. They're on the train. So it's kind of cool to be that close to New York City, honestly.
Yeah. Now I'm looking we're looking up here at your graphic, and it says Keller Williams. So tell us about the journey from owning Domino's franchises to being in the world of real estate.
Yeah, for sure. So, 23 years in the restaurant business and 3 kids and a beautiful family and wife. It was time to kind of think about, how can I spend more time with them? The restaurant business is a grind, and you got to be in it, keep your eyes on it. So I did decide to sell the stores, and had them for sale. We were supposed to close March of 2020, which
interesting
timing. Yeah,
No.
right.
That sounds familiar. I've heard that somewhere.
So I got
before.
my real estate. We decided, what are we going to do next? We love it up here. Our kids are in really, really great school systems. They're in high school. We don't want to move them. So we decided to stay, and I kind of looked for what was the next entrepreneurial type job that I could get into. And now I don't have employees. I don't have to rely on people showing up to work or people calling out. So I decided to keep helping people. It's all about the people business. Before it was pizza, now it's houses. And I aligned myself with this great company that's focused on training and education and culture, and been selling houses since 2020. So yeah, the sale of the restaurants got delayed till like November. So that year was tough. Kids were home from school. My wife has a job where she has to go into the office, and I was selling real estate and pizza. It was a fun year, but it set me up for some great success coming out of that for sure.
That is quite interesting, Geo, without a doubt. What kind of things, man, I can't imagine owning franchises like Domino's, taking that and going from that and going to real estate. What are some of the things that you brought over or knowledge that really transferred over to the real estate business from owning restaurant franchises?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I always look at the Domino's really not as pizza, as people, right? We're helping employees grow their careers. We're helping employees pay their bills and provide for their family. We're providing service to our customers. And so I always kind of approached my Domino's career like that, like service. It's people business. It's relationships. What relationships can you build for catering or for late night business or whatever? And it's people business in real estate. How can I help these clients achieve their goals? What's best for them? How can I help them get there? And then just work ethic, right? I mean, it takes a lot of hard work. We always joke people get into real estate for freedom, flexibility, and money, which is great. But then they don't want to show up to work. Well, you're not going to make any money if you don't show up. So that work ethic has really helped a lot as well.
Me and Bill have talked about this many times. It is always the most important thing. Is the first thing you got to do is show up, right? And sometimes
Absolutely.
getting people to do that is very difficult.
Well, I know who you worked for at Domino's in Titusville and Port St. John, and he was a great model of hustle.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people, a true mentor and role model for me. And he's been a big help and a big friend of mine throughout my life.
And like I said, that's a good thing that carries over. I mean, that the whole idea that you got to hustle.
And you learn in the restaurant industry, you learn how to deal with people of all backgrounds, all walks of life, all personalities. You learn to deal with people at the best of times, the worst of times. Real estate, that's the same. You're dealing with all kinds of people, not always happy, sometimes happy as can be. You've got to learn to navigate that and tie all that in.
Oh, yeah. Psychologist, therapist, marriage counselor, grief counselor. I mean,
financial planner.
Yeah, exactly. So, seeing how they need me to show up for them today and help walk them through what they're feeling, and that's what it's all about. I've helped first generation homeowners where, their parents moved here from South America or other countries, and it's the first time they've ever owned a home, and they're just so happy, and it really feels good when you have those kind of cool success stories.
Do you remember the times in Bill Curtis's classroom?
Vaguely, yeah.
You remember that? You remember the trouble we used to cause in Bill Curtis's classroom?
I remember the trouble we used to get in Julie Joint's classroom.
Yes, we used to get we used to get a lot of trouble in her classroom as well, without a doubt. Yeah. Let's look at this from one other perspective real quick. Let's say you are having a conversation right now with Geo from high school, who's in a band. You're in Talent Scam. What would you go back and tell that Geo about this journey? Maybe easier ways to go about it, or would you handle it the exact same way? What would you go back and tell young Geo?
I mean, I wouldn't change anything. I think people always throwing advice at you, but my parents gave me some good advice. They said if you're not going to go to college, just always be learning, always be reading. I still carry that on today. I always have a couple books I'm working on. Life isn't going to be easy. Life is going to be, there's going to be speed bumps. There's going to be obstacles. I don't think I need to even tell my younger self this, but what I'm telling my kids is, don't go around the world looking for a reason to be offended, right? If you have that mindset of the victim, then you will find a reason to be offended. There's no point in that. There's no good that comes from that. You can be a victor or you can be a victim. Which one do you want to be? So I teach my kids, have a good attitude, show up, work hard, and be coachable, and they can accomplish anything. And that's kind of what I've done. I mean, Domino's had some twists and turns and unexpected things. Life has that, personal, professional, business. You just have to roll with it and know that it's coming, and just make the best out of every opportunity.
And it's such an important thing for those young people to hear that there is more than one way to build a successful life. You originally thought, oh, maybe I'll be a doctor, and then looked inward and introspectively and went, yeah, no, that school to that level, that's not for me. But you didn't stop. You didn't quit. You built something. You worked hard to get there and do it. And school isn't for everyone, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you can't be successful. It doesn't mean you can't find where you fit and where you are passionate and where you succeed.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it seems to be, we've had this discussion the past few weeks in a row, it seems like, where seems to be the most successful people are sometimes the ones that don't go to school. They don't go to college. They have a plan as soon as they get out of high school, and they don't, it's not, you're not saying wasting that 4 years, but sometimes for some people it is burning. You're burning time and burning money when you could be out there already being super successful at whatever it might be.
What were
Don't be afraid to fail. All great success stories have some failures along the way. And if you give up after one failure, you're never going to reach that success. So just don't quit. That's how you don't fail, is you don't stop.
What are the biggest traits you see in yourself that made you successful, both in the restaurant industry and now where you're at in realty?
I love helping people, and they people like that. People gravitate towards that. It's helpful to build a team. And when you like helping people, building that team kind of comes naturally. I never had a hard time staffing the restaurants. Now that I'm, a decently successful agent, I never have a hard time finding a newer, younger agent to collaborate with, help out with. I can give them some help. They can give me some help. So just, no one succeeds alone. So I think just knowing that, and just when it comes down to it, getting it done, right? If times are good, keep doing it. If times are bad, work harder, work smarter. Just that tenacity to never give up and be resilient.
Yeah, so I got to tell you something. It's always been I say this to people not as often as you might imagine. You've been a very inspirational person for me to watch from a distance for a very long time. Like you're saying, your work ethic, the way you treat people. This is your whole family, though. This is you, your wife, all you guys. The way you treat people, the way you interact with people, it's just in the way you grind in your businesses, dude. It's freaking awesome to watch.
Thanks, man. And you have to have a reason, right? I mean, I do it to help provide a life for my beautiful family. If they're the reason why. So, they have to have a house, they have to eat, they have to have shelter. So that's my big why, and that keeps me going on days where you wake up and you're like, I don't want to make those calls today, or I don't want to call this agent, have that conversation, but you have to push through, and you need a reason to show up every day, because sometimes success can be boring. Sometimes it's not. And on Instagram and Facebook, everyone shows their fun side, but real success comes from the grind of just knocking it out day in and day out, all the stuff that people don't see. So you have to have a big reason to keep it going.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was whenever I went up to New York to do the Business Insider thing. Geo actually took a train into New York and hung out with me for an afternoon. It was pretty awesome.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was very special. And if I didn't say thank you for that, that was very awesome.
Yeah, I was thinking you texted me. I think I was at an open house, upstate Connecticut. Frank's like, "Hey, I'm in town. 18 hours. Can you come hang out?" I was on the 5:15 train, heading to Manhattan by myself, which I've only done a couple of times. Jumped on the subway, which I've also only done a couple of times, and found my way to you, and it was totally worth it. And when Frank calls, says he's in town, you got to hang out, and it's always great to catch up with you.
Yeah, it always is, buddy. When do you find yourself back on the Space Coast again?
We'll be down for spring break, which for our kids is in April, so we'll be down for a week. We rented an Airbnb, got a pool. We're gonna hang out, do all the fun stuff, go to the beach. So we'll definitely have to hit you up and get some Village Inn or something while we're there.
Yeah,
Village
for sure.
Inn.
Yes, that is one of our hit ups when you're around for sure.
Or go out looking for snakes or something. You always treat us well. You always,
we will go find critters somewhere.
Fun to do. Yeah.
Yes. Which of your kids was it that was out with us when he or she was first born with an alligator? Remind me which kid that was. I mean, I remember the kid was still in a stretcher. Or not a stretcher. Dear Lord. Where's my brain at? Oh, dear God.
Stroller?
A stroller. Where's my brain? Just went to a whole different direction. Yeah, you remember the one was the little one that was in a stroller.
Yeah, that was my first. Their name is Mads, M-A-D-Z.
Okay.
Madeline, but they go by Mads. Quick plug, they just got accepted to their top choice college, so we could not be prouder.
Oh, my goodness.
No kidding. Where were they going?
SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, they're creative, so we totally support them. And honestly, schools down there, cost of living down there, everything's a little bit better, so we're happy about that too.
They're going to love it. That campus is so beautiful.
Yeah, we're going to check that out on the Saturday of spring break, and then we'll spend the rest of spring break down there with family in Florida. So they're super excited. But yeah, that was Mads, and we caught that gator, and that was a day to remember for sure.
Did you know that they have a Division I swim team?
Really?
Yes.
I did not.
I didn't know either. One of my students went there and went on a swimming scholarship.
That's amazing.
Man,
Yeah.
that is a crazy piece of knowledge you pulled out of nowhere,
That's-
Bill. That was great.
That was just that they have a swim team.
Nice. And they also have an Atlanta campus, which I did not know. And that's where my child will be going to, the Atlanta campus, which is
Oh,
great.
okay.
My mom lives nearby. My wife's best friend lives in Atlanta, so it's really convenient. Plus the airport. Obviously, you can't go
Yes.
anywhere without going to Atlanta, so it works out.
How close is that to where you guys were at in Georgia?
About 3 or 4 hours. We were Valdosta, which is 10
So,
miles in.
I remember coming there one time to see you guys, and I have no idea where it was. Is that bad? I remember getting there, remember being there, but I have no idea how I got there.
It's not much to remember.
Well, Geo, I really appreciate you coming on here and chatting with us and really catching us up on what's been going on in your life. If people want to learn more about your real estate business up there in Connecticut where you're at, how can they find you or how do they reach you?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm most active on Facebook or Instagram. It's just Geo Crume. I do have a big network of agents, all around the country, especially in Brevard, that I can, help find somebody to help somebody out. But or if anyone's interested in a career in real estate, the barrier to entry is low and the income is unlimited. So I really enjoy it, and it's not for everybody, but yeah, always happy to chat.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, we'll tag you in this and get this out next week, head in your direction.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to checking it out.
Really appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for your time. My love to the
Thanks, man.
family.
You as well. We'll call you when we're down there.
All right, sounds good, bub. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Geo is an awesome human. Always has been, too. Always has been. Do you not remember Geo?
No, not at all.
No?
I really don't.
Yeah.
I tried really hard.
Well, you had me, Jacob, and Willie in that class.
Yes.
And-
And I remember
and-
Jacob and Willie,
Yeah.
and I remember you.
Yeah. And Jake and Mr. Wakazaka.
Yes, and Jason. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have Jason on sometime too. We need to get
We
Jason on
should.
as well.
We should.
That's an easy one.
I
can make that
remember
happen.
talent scam. I
Yeah.
remember being way too young to go to the shows, and that did not stop me.
And you were still at the shows.
Yeah, I
huh?
was still there.
Yeah, very, very talented drummer. One of the best you could probably ever see.
Uh-huh.
And was a punk rock drummer on that too. So I mean, that dude was he was arms
Okay.
flailing all directions. Yes.
I remember seeing the band. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just I can't place him. I don't have a memory of him.
If you saw him in person, you remember him.
Probably. Well,
Yeah.
it's like her husband. When I saw him, it's like I know his profile. It's like I know you, and he hung out with my son, and
That's funny.
and yeah, so I knew when I saw him. I mean, to hear the name, I was like, no,
Yeah, who's that?
yeah.
It's a very unique name.
So yeah, Geo. I mean, I try to remember. It's just like when we had Ian on,
Right. Yeah.
and I didn't remember Ian right away, but as we talked, it's like okay, I remember Ian now.
Yeah. So we should catch back up with Ian as well.
We should.
Yeah. We
see
haven't
how
had him
he's
on
doing.
in a minute either.
Yep.
Oh Lord, good times, guys. It's a good time to wrap it up.
There we go.
Yeah, I digress. All right, so thank you all for tuning into the EEARSS podcast produced by Terrier TV here at Titusville High School. If you're interested in learning more about EEARSS, you can go over to Alligator Robb, ROBB.com, or EEARSS.org. That is the word ears with an extra E over here on the left side. If you're watching my hand, it's wiggling, or an extra S over here on the right side because it's wiggling on the right now. And you put that extra E and the extra S together, and it's EEARSS. Yeah, so it sounds cool when you say it like that. Thank you all for tuning in. We will catch you all next week. Bye-bye.